There was a time where Sonic Unleashed was locked behind low FPS, bad resolution, and old-gen consoles, but now it's finally free from its cage, and not because of emulation, but because of something better: recompilation. Sonic Unleashed Recompiled is a project by Scythe. This recompilation allows this beauty of a game to be played on modern hardware, and it isn't just for show. This is history. This changes game preservation as we know it, and what it means to own a game. But before we dive in, let's take a second to think about what it means to bring a game back from the dead. We're not just talking about replaying a classic, we're talking about rebuilding it and making it better, and handing it back to the community more alive than ever. And that's exactly what Recompiled represents. Released in 2008, Sonic Unleashed was Sega's newest invention, and to be fair, it was very ahead of its time. Sonic Unleashed followed the boost formula with a new mechanic, the Werehog. Most people didn't like the Werehog because the sections were too long and the forced exploration for medals was really annoying. But despite those flaws, Sonic Unleashed was huge. The daytime stages were fast, cinematic, and packed with fun. You really felt like Sonic was at its peak. The quick time events, the music, it captured the traveling around the world theme perfectly. It offered a new adventure with a fresh new twist. But the performance was terrible. Xbox releases had extreme lag spikes and low resolution, and the same with the PS3 release. And it was no better when it came to Xbox One with 60 FPS. No PC port was seen. Despite games like Sonic Adventure, Generations, and even Heroes getting PC ports, that's when the fans knew they needed to make it themselves. The idea of recompiling a game sounds easy in theory. Take the original code and rebuild it to work on modern hardware. But in reality, it was really difficult. What started out as a small Sonic Generations mod grew into something larger. The fans weren't satisfied with the mods. Hell, neither was I. The fans took it into their own hands. Reverse engineering a console-exclusive title like Unleashed, but on the proprietary Hedgehog engine, is like trying to solve a puzzle where half the pieces are missing and the box is on fire. There was no SDK, no source code, and the developers had to decipher binary formats, proprietary scripting languages, and rendering a pipeline designed specifically for console hardware. But that didn't stop them. Through painful work and pushing through, things like frame rate uncapping, resolution changes, mods, physics tweaks, even quality of life improvements were all made for the PC port. This wasn't just preserving a game, this was innovation. The fans took Unleashed to a state that most fans, including myself, thought was never possible. But why is this different? There are very few fan projects that manage to recompile a modern console game to this level of polish. We've seen similar success with Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, but Unleashed is a whole different breed. It's far more complex, more modern, using tech that was never meant to be touched by outside hands. This is what makes this achievement even more incredible. But what does this mean for the future of ownership? Sonic Unleashed Recompiled doesn't just matter because it's available. It changes how owning a game works. In an era where digital games are licenses, where if they leave the storefront, they're gone forever, fan projects like this keep games alive. Whether it's this, Super Mario 64, or their Ocarina of Time recompilation. Recompilation defines how we as consumers can own games, and it makes them accessible for people who can't afford original hardware or find it too hard to emulate. It's not just a project, this is a statement. But what happens when fans outpace the developers? Projects like this blur the line between audience and author. They raise real questions. Should studios embrace this work, license it, shut it down? Some developers have caught on. Capcom and Bethesda have supported modders. Sega themselves are unpredictable, sometimes supportive and sometimes silent, and Nintendo is notoriously known for shutting down fan creations for no apparent reason. But here's the truth. The next generation of developers is already here. They are fans who grew up loving games and are now rebuilding them from the ground up, not for profit, but for passion. And passion is hard to stop. No matter how companies like Nintendo try to shut these devs, they refuse to give up, as shown in the Ocarina of Time recompilation or even the Unreal Engine remake of Ocarina of Time. These developers look into the eyes of these companies and decide to face them instead of running away. Sonic Unleashed Recompiled isn't just a flashy remake or a big budget reboot, it's something more meaningful. It's proof that games can live beyond their intended lifespan, that fans can be stewards of gaming history, and that sometimes the best way to move forward is to take apart the past. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, it's another short one, but I am just kind of preparing for the Silent Hill video. I'm almost done with the script at this point, and I will be starting editing starting around June 1st, hopefully. But yeah, see you then.